This Saturday, May 14th at 8 p.m. at Precious Blood Church, the Winnipeg Classical Guitar Society will welcome to the stage the wonderful Canadian guitarist Emma Rush. Known for her flawless technique, captivating stage presence, and creative concert programming, Emma Rush has established herself as one of Canada's great classical guitarists, providing audiences with a memorable concert experience. The program on Saturday night will feature music from 19th century women composers, as well as music by composers such as Maximo Pujol, Jose Luis Merlin, and others, including a brand new piece written for guitar ensemble written by Winnipeg guitarist and teacher Guy Michaud. And joining me here over Zoom, I am joined by Emma Rush. Hey, Emma, it's good to see you again.
Hi, yeah, great to talk with you.
Mm. The last time I saw you was pre-pandemic. You were here in our Classic 107 studios with your dual partner, Sarah Traficante,
Yeah.
here in our Classic 107 studios in anticipation of a concert that you were performing with the Winnipeg Classical Guitar Society back in January of 2020. What have you been up to between then and now, and how does it feel to be back? How does it feel to be back performing? Yeah, I
Oh,
know.
yeah, well, it feels great. I mean, I was very lucky that during the pandemic I stayed pretty busy. I had a lot of online opportunities, which was great. I did a lot of online concerts and tons of teaching, presentations, etc. But yeah, playing a concert for your laptop is never going to be the same as playing for a live audience. So I started playing live again, I guess, last fall in Nova Scotia. And then this spring, I've been touring in Quebec. And where was I? A couple weeks ago, I was in the Kootenays in BC. And now I've got this sort of week-long residency here in Winnipeg. And it's just great. It's so nice to be busy again and to be sort of interacting with a real live audience. It's a great energy to feel.
Mm-hmm. Uh, some time ago, I think it was like right in the middle of the pandemic, I received in the mail your latest CD, Wake the Sigh, with a very nice note from you. The CD consists of music written by 19th century women composers. It's such a great disc. My first question is, where did you discover this music? And the second part of the question is, was the recording of a CD of women composers something that you always wanted to do?
Okay, so well, I'll do the first question. So, I mean, I kind of came up with this idea because I had bought a copy of a guitar from the 1800s. So I bought a copy of a period instrument just because I got like really excited when I talked to the luthier, like the guitar maker. And then I thought, what am I going to do with this? Because I'm not normally programming a lot of romantic period music. And so I sort of started rolling around some ideas, and at the same time, I was thinking of doing a residency in Lübeck in Germany for a women's arts organization. So then I put together this proposal to just see if there was any music written by women that would be appropriate for that instrument. And then I got the residency, so off I went to Europe and spent a couple of great months sort of doing on-site visits to different libraries and museums, and then also spending a lot of hours like combing through online archives and stuff. Yeah, and it turned out that there's actually like quite a lot of music written by women in that period, and it's all very good, but it's just been sort of left out of the books as well. We hear that story pretty often these
Yeah.
days.
Now that attitudes have changed, thankfully, that is no longer, or it's becoming less and less an issue. Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, still definitely a lot of work to do in that area, but yeah. So it was really great. So I found, I mean, the disc that I put out has seven different composers, and you know, they had really interesting careers, and a few of them were seriously a big deal. They had like incredible performing careers at a time where even anyone being, a sort of instrumental virtuoso was not so common, let alone, a woman doing that and sort of touring the world. So these were, sort of really incredible performers, composers, educators sometimes. So it's a real thrill for me to sort of get to know them and help bring their music back to life. Um, And then yeah, it wasn't always a plan to make a CD of all female composers. And in fact, I'm not necessarily on board with like, oh, let's do a concert all of, music by women. I prefer just to play music, by composers. And
Yeah.
but I've always tried to program, music by women composers, like from my first CD and in my concert programming. So I've always tried to keep an eye on that, and I do it now more than ever.
Yeah, I mean, there's some of the composers on Wake the Sigh, some of their music you're going to be playing on Saturday night, but there's also some music from composers I'd never heard of. So it must be super exciting for you to uncover these sort of unheard gems, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I still get goosebumps. It's just thinking that with some of these pieces, I'm likely the first person that's played them, in 150 years or
Yeah.
so, the first time it's been played in Canada, maybe, or maybe even the first time with some of it that it's been played in a, professional concert setting. And it is definitely a thrill. And then I also, I mean, I find it extremely interesting and exciting to sort of do this historical research where when we don't know so much about a composer, to go digging for little bits that you can find and then see as like slowly a picture of that person comes together. And it's really endlessly fascinating for me.
Yeah, and I just want to give you a quick shout out. When I was prepping for the interview, I was tooling around your website and I found this amazing, you have it on your website, this amazing database of female composers. And I actually like quick linked it to my Google. So thank you for that because
Oh, sure.
it gives me an
Great.
opportunity to sort of dig into some of that stuff, which is great. This Saturday night, you're also going to be performing music of, and help me with the pronunciation of the name, Annette Krushpik.
Annette Kreuzbrink.
Yeah, I love the sound of flamenco guitar, and you're doing her piece titled "Homage a Paco de Lucia," presumably inspired by the great flamenco guitarists. What can you tell us about this composer and this piece?
Oh, well, she's an incredible composer. She has a huge catalog. I mean, she's just written so much music for guitar and, guitar and chamber music, and then just all kinds of other stuff as well. Um, and she's really, really fluent in a lot of different styles of composition. Um, I love this piece because well, flamenco music is wonderful, and we do sort of share a couple, like, sort of technical sides between classical guitar and flamenco guitar, but they're essentially like totally different animals. So Annette Kreuzbrink managed to sort of really get the essence of Paco de Lucia and his music and how he played, and sort of distill it into something that feels very at home in a classical guitar. So I don't feel when I'm playing it like I'm kind of being a hack at flamenco music,
Yeah.
but it is really like a great, it is an homage, so it really is a lovely tribute to Paco de Lucia. And then also yeah, it's a very cool piece. It uses a lot of interesting tremolo techniques, and it's really well written. It's one of my favorite pieces on the program.
Amazing. There's also a piece on the program written by Winnipeg guitarist and composer Guy Michaud. Can you talk about this piece, Nightwind? What is it? And how
Yeah,
did
this
it
is
come about?
really exciting. So, this was a commission from Groundswell, as well as the Winnipeg Guitar Society. And I think there's a group that's the Association of Winnipeg Classical Guitar Teachers. And so there are three organizations sort of instrumental in putting this together. So it's a piece for six guitarists, one of whom is a soloist, which will be me.
Hmm.
And it's a very cool piece. So Guy has really explored a lot of the sort of palette of different sounds the guitar has to offer beyond what you're normally going to expect to hear from a guitar. So it's using the instrument in a lot of creative ways. There's some percussion effects. There's some cool strumming. There's there's a lot of surprises too. And then there's a beautiful cadenza for the solo part, which you hear in the middle of the piece. But yeah, it's got a great rhythmic groove, and it's really interesting rhythms. It hops around from like a lot of different time signatures, but not in a way that is hard to follow, just in a way that is really interesting and exciting to play. So
Mhm.
we've got a couple sort of recent University of Manitoba guitar graduates playing in the ensemble, and then three local high school students as well. So it's a nice mix of players to showcase this piece.
And you've been, and off the air, we were talking, you've been here almost a week. I'm presuming you've rehearsed with them, and how have the rehearsals been going?
Oh yeah, the rehearsal was great. It was really fun for me to finally hear what the piece sounded like. 'Cause I've been working on, with the score, but it's hard to imagine all these sort of different effects coming from the guitar, and also just to sort of hear how they, how the different parts are sprinkled through the ensemble. So where you're going to hear the music coming from. So yeah, that's been really fun, and we also because it's quite a complex piece. We've got a conductor as well, who is another recent University of Manitoba grad conducting students, and yeah, so he's sort of leading everybody along as well, which is great.
Hmm. It's such a fantastic program for this Saturday night's concert. There's so many new names for me, and they'll be new to Winnipeg audiences. The last piece I want to ask about is the Dara O'Neill piece, Shadow Box. Who is he, and what is this piece?
Oh, this piece is so great. I've just recently added it to my program and it's so fun. So, Derek O'Neill is an Irish composer and we actually met on Instagram. So it's like social media finally working the way it's supposed to,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, helping people connect and network. And so, yeah, he saw some of my videos of me playing. I saw some videos of his music, and we started sort of chatting. And he sent me a couple of pieces to look at. And one of them, this piece, happens to be inspired by the bass line from a Van Halen song, which
Awesome.
is my favorite rock band.
Which which
So,
which Van Halen tune?
bottoms up.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was sort of immediately appealing to me, just the story behind it. And then I started playing the piece and I really loved it. It's very, very funky. It's really cool. And yeah, it's got a sort of lots of kind of like pop music elements to it. Yeah, it's not a stuffy guitar tune, that's for sure.
Excellent. Emma, the concert on Saturday night sounds like it's going to be amazing. After Winnipeg, where are you off to next?
I will be in Halifax for actually a month at a time. I relocated there last summer, and since I landed there, I've only been there sort of 2 weeks at a time at most. I've been quite busy, so I'm looking forward to actually enjoying some time at home for about 4 weeks, and then I've got a few music festivals in the summer. I'll be going to the Colorado Guitar Retreat, Guitar Fest West in Calgary. Some
Oh, amazing. And again, it's been so much fun chatting with you. Thanks so much for taking the time. For our Classic 107 listeners, the concert takes place this Saturday night at 8 p.m. at Precious Blood Church, which is located at 200 Kenny Street. Tickets will be available at the door or by going to winnipegclassicalguitarsociety.com. And I will provide a direct link to the ticket site in the article that'll be up on our website, classic107.com. Emma, thanks again.
Thanks so much.